Scouting report. In a significant off-season overhaul for the Kentucky Wildcats, the program has drastically restructured its wide receiver room during the winter 2026 transfer portal window. Following the departure of longtime head coach Mark Stoops and the hiring of former Oregon offensive coordinator Will Stein, the Wildcats have seen a massive wave of roster turnover designed to align the talent with Stein's high-octane offensive scheme. Here is the expanded news and roster impact analysis for the affected teams. The catalyst: coaching change and philosophical shift. The restructuring was triggered by the transition to head coach Will Stein. Stein, known for a spread offense that prioritizes speed and versatility, has aggressively used the portal to flip the receiver room, resulting in a total rebuild that saw key contributors leave and new, scheme-specific playmakers arrive. Roster movements, the transfer portal ledger. Kentucky Wildcats, the central hub. Departures, transfers out. Hardly Gilmore IV, wide receiver, transferred to Louisville. A significant loss, as Gilmore was the team's second leading receiver, 28 catches, and a rising talent. Cam Miller, wide receiver, entered the transfer portal. Miller was a rotation player who had begun to emerge the previous season. Preston Bowman, wide receiver, transferred to Ohio. Troy Stellato, wide receiver, entered the transfer portal. Quinton Simmons, wide receiver, entered the transfer portal. Departed via eligibility. Kendrick Law, Jamori Macklin. Arrivals, transfers in. Xavier Daisy, wide receiver, from UAB. A 6'3" target intended to provide the size and X-receiver capability lacking in the previous room. Nick Anderson, wide receiver, from Oklahoma. A former 4-star recruit looking to regain his freshman form. He brings high-ceiling talent to the perimeter. Shane Core, wide receiver, from Louisville. A Lexington native who returns home after a stint with the Cardinals. Jakaiden Ferguson, wide receiver, from Arkansas. Davis McCray, wide receiver, from Texas. Roster impact analysis. Kentucky Wildcats, the immediate impact. The Wildcats have traded continuity for scheme fit. The loss of Gilmore and Law removes the bulk of their known production, creating a temporary vacuum in experience. Strategic shift. The additions of Xavier Daisy and Nick Anderson signal a shift towards bigger, vertical threats capable of winning one-on-one matchups downfield, a staple of Stein's offense. The arrival of Shane Carr adds depth with local ties. Risk-reward. This is a high-variance roster strategy. If Anderson and Daisy hit their ceilings, the unit could be more explosive than the 2025 group. However, the lack of returning chemistry creates early season vulnerability. Louisville Cardinals, the immediate impact. The Cardinals are the primary beneficiary of Kentucky's instability. By landing Hardly Gilmore IV, they acquire a proven SEC-caliber receiver who can contribute immediately. Roster depth. Gilmore strengthens a receiver core that can always use dynamic playmaking. Losing Shane Carr to Kentucky is a depth blow, but trading a developmental piece for a proven rival contributor, Gilmore, is a net win for the Cardinals. UAB Blazers, the immediate impact. Losing Xavier Daisy is a significant blow to the UAB offense. Daisy was a rising playmaker, 18 catches, 177 yards in limited action, with the physical tools to become a wide receiver one. UAB will need to find a new large frame target to replace his red zone presence. Oklahoma Sooners and Arkansas Razorbacks. Oklahoma, the departure of Nick Anderson clears a scholarship spot, but removes a talented, although inconsistent, depth piece. Arkansas. Losing Jakaiden Ferguson to a conference rival, Kentucky, thins their developmental depth at receiver. Summary. The winter portal window has effectively swapped Kentucky's floor for a higher potential ceiling. Coach Will Stein has successfully purged the roster of players who didn't fit his vision and imported size and speed, Daisy Anderson, to execute his offense. The immediate winner of the fallout, however, appears to be Louisville, who secured a guaranteed contributor in Gilmore.